Lila Thompson stood alone on the train platform clutching her worn suitcase. Her heart raced with a mix of hope and apprehension. She had left Ohio behind, chasing a dream of new beginnings. Her eyes searched the crowd, looking for Thomas Whitaker. He was the farmer from Montana whose letters had painted a picture of a shared future. In his words, Thomas promised companionship and a life built on dreams. Lila imagined a world where they would build a home and a life together. But as she stepped onto the platform, the cold reality set in. Thomas was not the man she had envisioned. Before we continue, tell us where you're watching from and subscribe if you believe in the power of new beginnings. Lila Thompson stood on the train platform clutching a worn suitcase. Her heart raced with a mix of fear and excitement. She had left Ohio behind, hoping for a new start. Her eyes scanned the unfamiliar faces, searching for Thomas Whitaker. He was the farmer from Montana who had written her letters filled with promises. In his letters, Thomas spoke of a life of companionship and shared dreams. Lila imagined a future where they would build a home and a life together. The journey to Willow Creek had been long. Lila watched the landscape change from bustling cities to open fields. Each mile brought her closer to the unknown. She had sold most of her belongings to afford the trip. All she carried were a few clothes and a heart full of hope. When the train finally stopped, Lila took a deep breath and stepped onto the platform. The air was crisp, a reminder that the West was different from her hometown. She pulled her coat tighter around her shoulders and looked around for Thomas. Her heart sank when she saw him. He stood at the edge of the platform, looking different than she imagined. He was taller, with a stern face that did not match the kind words from his letters. Lila approached Thomas with a nervous smile. She introduced herself, hoping to see a spark of recognition or warmth in his eyes. But his expression remained cold. He looked her up and down, his gaze lingering on her sturdy figure. Lila felt a knot tighten in her stomach. This was not the welcome she had imagined. Thomas spoke, his words blunt and lacking warmth. He said Lila was not what he expected. His words cut like ice, leaving Lila feeling small and unwanted. She tried to explain that the journey had been long, that she hoped they could get to know each other. But Thomas shook his head, already dismissing her. The rejection was swift and painful. Lila stood there, feeling exposed and alone in a town where she knew no one. Thomas turned away, leaving her without a plan or a place to go. Tears threatened to fall, but Lila blinked them back. She refused to let this moment break her spirit. With no other options, Lila gathered her things and walked away from the platform. Her dreams felt distant now, but she knew she had to keep moving forward. She wandered through the town, searching for a place to stay. Her feet led her to a small bakery with a sign offering rooms to rent. The bakery was warm and the smell of fresh bread filled the air. Lila approached the counter, asking the baker about renting a room. The baker, a kindly man with flour-dusted hands, nodded and showed her to a modest room above the shop. It was small and drafty, but it offered shelter and a place to think. Lila sat on the bed, her suitcase by her side. The events of the day weighed heavily on her heart. She had left everything familiar behind for a promise that had evaporated upon arrival. But she reminded herself that this was not the end. She had come to Montana with dreams, and she would find a way to make them real. The next morning, Lila woke early. She knew she had to face the town and find a way to support herself. She had skills in sewing, something her mother had taught her back in Ohio. With her sewing kit in hand, Lila ventured into the town, offering her services to the townsfolk. The people of Willow Creek were curious about the new arrival. Lila heard whispers as she passed by, people referring to her as the woman Thomas had rejected. The words stung, but Lila held her head high. She was determined to carve out a place for herself, no matter the gossip. As Lila settled into her new routine, she met Miriam, the baker's wife. Miriam was a gentle soul with a warm smile. She offered Lila friendship and support, knowing how hard it was to be new in town. Miriam's kindness was a balm to Lila's wounded heart. With her help, Lila began to feel less like an outsider. Days turned into weeks and Lila's sewing business grew. She found solace in the work, her hands busy stitching fabric into new creations. The townsfolk began to respect her skill, slowly shifting their perception of her. Lila was no longer just the woman Thomas had turned away, she was becoming a part of the community. Despite the challenges, Lila's spirit remained unbroken. She knew she had to be strong to prove that she could thrive even when faced with rejection. Her dreams had shifted, but she held onto the hope that her journey to the West would lead to something meaningful. In the quiet moments, Lila thought about Thomas. She wondered if he ever regretted his decision. But she pushed those thoughts away, choosing instead to focus on the life she was building. She was determined to create her own path, one not defined by someone else's expectations. As she walked through Willow Creek, Lila began to see the town in a new light. It was not the place she had imagined, but it held possibilities she had not considered. She realized that the West offered more than just open land, it offered a chance to redefine herself. Lila stood at the edge of the town looking out at the vast landscape. The sky stretched endlessly above her, a reminder that the world was full of opportunities. She took a deep breath, feeling the crisp air fill her lungs. This was her new beginning, and she was ready to embrace it. With each day, Lila's confidence grew. She knew she still had much to learn about life in Willow Creek, but she was ready for the challenge. Her journey had not gone as planned, but she was carving out a place for herself, one stitch at a time. In the heart of the small Montana town, Lila found the strength to keep going. She knew she had made the right choice in leaving Ohio. Her journey was far from over, but she was ready to face whatever came next with courage and hope. Lila settled into her small room above the bakery, trying to make it feel like home. The space was simple, with a bed, a small table, and a window that overlooked the street below. It wasn't much, but it was enough for now. She used her last savings to pay for the room, knowing she had to find a way to earn more soon. Each morning, the scent of freshly baked bread wafted up from the bakery, a comforting start to her day. Lila would head out early, her sewing kit in hand, determined to make her mark on the town. She offered her services to anyone who would listen, altering clothes and mending torn fabrics. Slowly, people began to recognize her skill, and she started to gather a small group of regular customers. However, the whispers followed her wherever she went. People in Willow Creek were curious about the woman from Ohio who had been turned away by Thomas. They watched her with interest, some with sympathy, others with judgment. Lila heard the whispers but chose to ignore them. She was focused on building a new life, not on the opinions of others. One afternoon, as Lila was finishing a sewing job for a local merchant, she met Miriam, the baker's wife. Miriam was kind and soft-spoken, with a gentle presence that instantly put Lila at ease. Miriam had heard the rumors but saw beyond them. She invited Lila to join her for tea, eager to offer friendship. Lila accepted the invitation, grateful for the company. Over steaming cups of tea, she and Miriam talked about life in Willow Creek. Miriam shared stories about the town and its people, offering insights that helped Lila feel more connected to her new home. Lila, in turn, spoke of Ohio and her journey to the West. It felt good to share her story with someone who listened without judgment. Miriam became a quiet ally, offering Lila support and encouragement. She introduced Lila to other women in the town, helping her expand her circle of acquaintances. With Miriam's help, Lila started to feel less like an outsider. She was building a network, one connection at a time. Despite her growing sense of belonging, Lila couldn't completely escape the shadow of her past. The rejection from Thomas still lingered in her mind, a reminder of what she had hoped for and lost. She saw him occasionally in town, but their interactions were brief and polite, neither acknowledging what had happened. Determined to move forward, Lila focused on her work. She began taking on more sewing projects, her confidence growing with each finished piece. The townsfolk started to notice her talent, and her reputation as a skilled seamstress spread. Lila took pride in her work, knowing it was a step toward independence. As her business grew, Lila explored other ways to integrate into the community. She offered to bake pies for the bakery in exchange for essentials. Baking was something she had enjoyed back in Ohio, and she found comfort in the familiar process. Her pies quickly became popular, drawing more customers to the bakery. The success of her pies was a pleasant surprise. Lila discovered a hidden talent, one that opened new doors for her. Baking, like sewing, allowed her to connect with the people of Willow Creek. It was another way to show them who she was beyond the whispers and gossip. Lila's days became a blend of sewing, baking, and building relationships. She was no longer just the woman who had been rejected. She was becoming a valued member of the community. Her determination to succeed was evident to those around her. And slowly, the town's perception of her began to change. Despite the progress, there were still moments of doubt. Lila sometimes wondered if she would ever truly belong in Willow Creek. The town was small and memories were long, but she reminded herself that she had come here for a new beginning, and she was making it happen one step at a time. One evening, after a long day of sewing and baking, Lila sat with Miriam on the bakery's porch. They watched the sun set over the town, the sky painted with hues of orange and pink. It was a peaceful moment, a reminder of how far Lila had come since her arrival. Miriam turned to Lila, her eyes warm with understanding. She spoke of the strength it took to start over, to build a life from scratch. Lila listened, feeling a sense of gratitude for her friend's kindness. Miriam had been a beacon of support, helping her navigate the challenges of her new life. As the last light of day faded, Lila felt a renewed sense of purpose. She knew she had made progress, but there was still more to do. She was determined to continue growing her business, to find her place in the town that had once seemed so daunting. The whispers might never completely fade, but Lila was learning to rise above them. She was more than the sum of her past, more than the woman Thomas had turned away. She was Lila Thompson, a seamstress, a baker, and a woman carving out her own path. With each passing day, Lila felt more confident in her ability to create the life she had dreamed of. The journey was not easy, but she was not alone. She had found allies and friends, people who saw her for who she truly was. And in that, she found strength to keep moving forward. The town of Willow Creek was no longer just a place on a map. It was becoming home. Lila knew there would be more challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them. Her journey was far from over, but she was no longer afraid. She was ready to embrace whatever the future held. Lila's days in Willow Creek grew fuller as she settled into her new life. Her sewing business was doing well, and her pies were a hit at the bakery. The little room above the bakery felt more like home with each passing day. She found comfort in the routines she had built and the friendships she was forming. One afternoon, after finishing a sewing project, Lila decided to visit the local library. She had always loved reading, finding solace in the pages of a good book. The library in Willow Creek was small, housed in a building near the town square. Lila walked there, eager to explore its shelves. As she stepped inside, the quiet atmosphere welcomed her. Rows of books lined the walls, offering a sense of calm. Lila began to browse, her fingers tracing the spines of the books. It was a simple pleasure, one that reminded her of home. While she perused the shelves, the librarian approached her. He was a gentle-looking man with kind eyes and an easy smile. His name was Henry Lawson, and he introduced himself with a nod. Lila returned the greeting, feeling a bit shy in his presence. Henry noticed Lila's interest in literature and asked if he could help her find a book. Grateful for the assistance, Lila explained her love for stories and her desire to find something new to read. Henry listened intently, then suggested a few titles he thought she might enjoy. As they talked, Lila found herself at ease with Henry. He spoke with a quiet confidence, never mentioning the town gossip or her past. Instead, their conversation revolved around books and stories, a shared passion that connected them. Lila appreciated his kindness and the fact that he saw her as more than just the woman from Ohio. Over time, Lila's visits to the library became more frequent. Each time, Henry greeted her warmly, offering recommendations and engaging in light conversation. Their interactions were simple but meaningful, a bright spot in Lila's routine. Henry's presence was a comfort to Lila. He never pried into her life or asked about her history in Willow Creek. Instead, he offered a sense of normalcy, treating her like any other patron. Lila valued this, finding a quiet refuge in their growing friendship. As the days turned into weeks, Lila began to feel a sense of belonging in the library. It was a place where she could escape the whispers and judgments, a place where she could simply be herself. Henry's friendship provided a glimmer of hope, a reminder that she was not alone in this new town. One day, as Lila prepared to leave the library, Henry stopped her. He handed her a book, one she hadn't noticed before. It was a collection of stories about strong women facing challenges and overcoming them. Lila accepted it with gratitude, touched by his thoughtful gesture. With each book she borrowed, Lila felt more connected to Henry. Their shared love of literature forged a bond that neither had expected. Lila found herself looking forward to her visits, eager to discuss the stories she had read and hear Henry's thoughts. Outside of the library, Lila's life continued to take shape. Her sewing and baking kept her busy, and her friendships with Miriam and others in town grew stronger. She was slowly becoming part of the community, carving out her place in Willow Creek. Despite her progress, there were still moments of doubt. Lila sometimes wondered if the whispers would ever fade completely. But she reminded herself that she was more than the rumors, more than the woman Thomas had rejected. She was Lila Thompson, building a life on her own terms. Henry's friendship was a steady presence in her life, a source of encouragement and support. He never pressured her to share more than she was comfortable with, respecting her need for privacy. Lila valued this, knowing how rare it was to find someone who understood without needing to know everything. As the seasons changed, so did Lila's feelings. She found herself thinking about Henry more often, appreciating his kindness and the way he made her feel welcome. Their conversations were a highlight of her week, a reminder that she was not alone. Lila's visits to the library became a cherished part of her routine. She would spend hours there, lost in the pages of a book or engaged in conversation with Henry. It was a place of comfort and connection, a reminder of the life she was building in Willow Creek. One day, as Lila and Henry discussed a book they both enjoyed, she realized how much his friendship meant to her. He had been a constant in her life, offering support without expecting anything in return. Lila knew she was lucky to have found such a friend in this town. As she left the library that day, Lila felt a sense of contentment. Her journey in Willow Creek was far from over, but she was no longer the same woman who had arrived with dreams and hopes. She was stronger, more resilient, and ready to face whatever came next. With each passing day, Lila's confidence grew. She knew she still had challenges to overcome, but she was not afraid. She had friends, a growing business, and a life she was proud of. And, perhaps most importantly, she had found a true friend in Henry, a connection that reminded her of the power of kindness and understanding. Lila stood at the edge of town, watching the sun set over the horizon. The sky was a tapestry of colors, a beautiful end to a fulfilling day. She took a deep breath, feeling grateful for the life she was building. Willow Creek was becoming a place of hope and possibility, and Lila was ready to embrace it all. Lila's routine in Willow Creek was becoming more fulfilling. Her days were busy with sewing and baking, and she found joy in the small successes she achieved. The townsfolk were beginning to recognize her talents, and her reputation as a skilled seamstress and baker was spreading. One day, Miriam suggested that Lila bake a few pies for the bakery. In exchange, Miriam offered essentials like flour, sugar, and eggs. Lila agreed, eager to try her hand at baking on a larger scale. She spent the afternoon in the bakery's kitchen, the warm aroma of apples and spices filling the air. To her surprise, the pies were a hit. Customers praised her baking, and more people began visiting the bakery to taste her creations. Lila discovered a hidden talent she hadn't fully explored before. Baking, like sewing, became a way for her to connect with the community and share a piece of herself. Encouraged by the positive response, Lila considered expanding her baking efforts. She imagined selling pies alongside her sewn goods, creating a small business that combined her skills. The idea excited her, offering a new direction for her future. Henry noticed Lila's growing confidence and success. During one of her visits to the library, he encouraged her to pursue the idea of selling her pies and sewn goods. His support meant a lot to Lila, reinforcing her belief that she was on the right path. With Henry's encouragement, Lila began planning. She envisioned a small shop where she could display her creations, a place that would be welcoming and warm. The thought of having her own space filled her with hope, and she started working toward making it a reality. Despite her growing success, Lila still faced moments of doubt. The whispers about her past hadn't completely disappeared, and she occasionally felt the weight of judgment from those who remembered her rejection by Thomas. But she pushed those thoughts aside, focusing on the positive changes in her life. One afternoon, as Lila was leaving the bakery, she unexpectedly ran into Thomas. He was walking down the street, his expression unreadable. Lila's heart skipped a beat, a mix of emotions flooding her mind. She hadn't seen him up close since that first day on the train platform. Thomas stopped and greeted Lila, his voice hesitant but polite. He seemed different, more reserved than she remembered. They exchanged pleasantries, neither mentioning the past. Lila felt a pang of the old hurt but quickly pushed it aside, determined not to let it affect her progress. The encounter with Thomas, though brief, stirred up emotions Lila thought she had moved past. Memories of her initial hopes and dreams resurfaced, along with the sting of rejection. But as she walked away, she realized that the meeting had also reignited her determination to succeed. Lila returned to her room above the bakery, her mind racing with thoughts. She had come so far since that first day in Willow Creek. She had built a life for herself, one that was independent of Thomas and the expectations of others. Her journey was her own, and she was proud of what she had achieved. The next morning, Lila woke with a renewed sense of purpose. She was more determined than ever to pursue her dream of having a shop. She spent the day sewing and baking, her mind focused on the future she was building. Each stitch and each pie brought her closer to her goal. Henry continued to be a source of support and encouragement. They met regularly at the library, discussing books and sharing ideas. Lila found comfort in their friendship, knowing she could count on Henry to believe in her vision. As Lila's plans took shape, she began to gather the resources she needed. Miriam offered her advice and support, helping Lila navigate the logistics of setting up a small business. The townsfolk, too, began to take notice of her efforts, and many offered their encouragement. Despite the challenges, Lila felt a growing sense of excitement. She was on the brink of something new, something she had created with her own hands and determination. The thought of opening a shop was daunting, but it was also a chance to share her talents with the town that had become her home. The encounter with Thomas, once a source of pain, became a catalyst for growth. Lila realized that her journey was about more than overcoming past hurts. It was about embracing the future and the possibilities it held. She was ready to step into that future with confidence and hope. Lila's days were filled with preparation and planning. She worked tirelessly, driven by the vision of what could be. Her shop was no longer just a dream. It was becoming a reality, one step at a time. And with each step, Lila felt more certain of her place in Willow Creek. As the days turned into weeks, Lila's plans began to take shape. She found a small space in town that would serve as her shop, a cozy spot where she could display her sewn goods and bake treats. The prospect of having her own space thrilled her, a testament to her hard work and perseverance. Lila stood in the empty shop, imagining how it would look once it was filled with her creations. It was a blank canvas, ready to be transformed into a place of warmth and welcome. It was a symbol of the life she was building, a testament to her strength and determination. With the support of her friends and the community, Lila knew she could make her dream a reality. She had come to Willow Creek seeking a new beginning, and she had found it in ways she never expected. Her journey was far from over, but she was ready to embrace it with open arms. As the sun set over the town, Lila felt a sense of peace. She had faced challenges and overcome them. She had built a life she was proud of, one that was filled with hope and possibility. And with each new day, she was reminded of the strength that lay within her, a strength that would carry her forward into the future. Lila's small shop was beginning to take shape. The space she had chosen was perfect, with a large window that let in plenty of light. She could already picture her sewn goods displayed alongside her pies and baked treats. The shop was a symbol of her hard work and determination, a place where she could share her talents with the town. The townspeople were curious about Lila's new venture. Many had seen her sewing and baking skills firsthand, and they were eager to support her. Lila appreciated their encouragement, knowing that their support was an important part of her success. As the shop came together, Lila spent her days preparing. She sewed late into the night, creating dresses, aprons, and other items to fill the shelves. Her fingers worked with a steady rhythm, each stitch bringing her closer to her dream. During the mornings, she baked, filling the air with the sweet smell of pastries and pies. The shop's opening day was approaching, and Lila felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She wanted everything to be perfect, to make a good impression on the community that had become her home. She knew that her shop was more than just a business. It was a reflection of her journey and the strength she had found in Willow Creek. Henry was a constant source of support. He visited the shop regularly, offering help and words of encouragement. His presence was a comfort to Lila, a reminder that she was not alone in this endeavor. They often talked about the future, imagining the shop bustling with customers and laughter. One evening, as Lila was putting the finishing touches on the shop, Henry arrived with a small gift. It was a sign for the shop's door, hand-painted with the name Lila's Creations. Lila was touched by the gesture, knowing how much thought Henry had put into it. The sign was perfect, capturing the essence of her work and the welcoming spirit she wanted to share. As the day of the opening drew near, Lila found herself reflecting on her journey. She thought of how far she had come since arriving in Willow Creek. The rejection she had faced was now a distant memory, overshadowed by the friendships and achievements she had gained. Her shop was a testament to her resilience, a symbol of the life she had built from the ground up. On the day of the opening, Lila woke early. She wanted everything to be just right, from the arrangement of her sewn goods to the display of her pies. The shop looked inviting, the shelves filled with her creations. Lila felt a sense of pride as she surveyed the space, knowing it was the result of her hard work and determination. As the clock struck the opening hour, the first customers began to arrive. Miriam was among them, her smile wide as she entered the shop. She hugged Lila, congratulating her on the beautiful space she had created. Miriam's support had been invaluable, and Lila was grateful for her friendship. More townspeople followed, each offering words of encouragement and praise. Lila greeted them with a warm smile, eager to share her creations. The shop buzzed with activity, the sound of laughter and conversation filling the air. Lila felt a sense of belonging, knowing she was part of a community that valued her work. Throughout the day, Lila moved between the displays and the counter, helping customers and answering questions. She felt a sense of fulfillment, knowing she was doing what she loved. Her shop was a success, and the support from the townspeople was overwhelming. Henry arrived later in the morning, his presence a steady comfort amid the bustle. He offered to help behind the counter, assisting customers and sharing in the excitement of the day. Lila appreciated his help, knowing she could count on him in times of need. As the day went on, Lila found a moment to step outside and catch her breath. She stood at the edge of the shop, watching the people of Willow Creek come and go. Her heart was full, knowing that she had created something special. Her shop was more than just a business, it was a place of connection and community. A stranger approached Lila, someone she hadn't met before. It was a woman, her expression kind and open. She introduced herself as Catherine, a newcomer to Willow Creek. Catherine had heard about Lila's shop and wanted to see it for herself. She praised Lila's work, expressing admiration for the beautiful creations and the welcoming atmosphere. The moment of kindness from Catherine touched Lila deeply. It was a reminder that her shop had the power to bring people together, to create connections in unexpected ways. Lila felt a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that she was on the right path. As the sun began to set, Lila returned to the shop, feeling a sense of satisfaction. The opening day had been a success, and she was grateful for the support of her friends and the community. Her shop was a dream realized, a place where she could share her talents and her story. Lila stood beside Henry, watching the last of the customers leave. The shop was quiet now, a peaceful end to a busy day. She turned to Henry, gratitude in her eyes. His unwavering support had been a cornerstone of her journey, and she was thankful for his friendship. Together, they tidied the shop, preparing for the days to come. Lila knew there would be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with confidence and hope. Her journey in Willow Creek was far from over, but she was no longer afraid. She had found her place, her purpose, and her people. As she locked the door and stepped into the cool evening air, Lila felt a sense of peace. Her shop was a new beginning, a testament to her strength and resilience. She had built a life she was proud of, one that was filled with possibility and promise. And with each new day, she was reminded of the power of community and the strength of the human spirit. Lila's shop quickly became a cherished part of Willow Creek. Each day, she opened the doors with a sense of purpose, welcoming customers who came to admire her sewn goods and sample her baked treats. The shop was more than a place of business, it was a gathering spot for the townsfolk, a place where stories were shared and friendships blossomed. Henry continued to visit regularly, his presence a comforting constant in Lila's life. They often shared quiet moments over tea, discussing books and dreams. Henry's friendship had become one of the most meaningful parts of Lila's new life, a connection that brought her comfort and joy. As the days turned into weeks, Lila and Henry's friendship deepened. They spent more time together, sharing stories and laughter. Lila found herself opening up to Henry in ways she hadn't with anyone else. She spoke of her past, her dreams, and the challenges she had faced. Henry listened with understanding, sharing his own story of loss and resilience. Henry had come to Willow Creek seeking a fresh start, much like Lila. He had lost someone dear to him and had found solace in the quiet corners of the library. His love for books and the stories they held had been a source of comfort during difficult times. Lila appreciated his honesty, knowing how much strength it took to share such personal experiences. Their shared stories fostered a deep connection, one that neither had expected. Lila realized that Henry understood her journey in a way few others could. He saw her not just as a businesswoman or a baker, but as a person who had overcome adversity and found strength in the process. His admiration for her was genuine, and Lila felt a warmth in her heart whenever they were together. One day, Henry surprised Lila with a gift. It was a book, its cover worn but its pages full of stories about courage and hope. Inside, Henry had written a note, expressing his admiration for Lila's resilience and his hope for her future. The gesture touched Lila deeply, a reminder of the bond they shared. As Lila read the book, she found herself thinking more about Henry and the place he had come to hold in her life. She valued his friendship and the way he made her feel seen and appreciated. Their connection was more than just shared interests, it was a bond that brought light into her days. With each passing day, Lila's feelings for Henry grew. She found herself looking forward to their conversations, eager to hear his thoughts and share her own. Henry had become an integral part of her life in Willow Creek, a source of strength and comfort. One afternoon, as they sat together in the shop, Lila found the courage to express her feelings. She spoke of how much Henry's friendship meant to her, how his presence had made her journey in Willow Creek brighter. Henry listened, his eyes warm and understanding. In return, Henry shared his feelings for Lila. He spoke of the admiration he felt for her strength and determination, how he had watched her grow and succeed with pride. His words were sincere and heartfelt, a reflection of the deep connection they shared. Lila felt a wave of emotion wash over her as she listened to Henry. His words were a balm to her soul, a reminder that she was not alone in her feelings. She had found someone who truly understood her, who saw her not just for her achievements but for the person she was. Their conversation marked a turning point in their relationship. Lila realized that her feelings for Henry had grown into something deeper, something she hadn't anticipated. His kindness and understanding had touched her heart, and she knew she wanted him to be a part of her future. As the weeks passed, Lila and Henry's bond continued to strengthen. They spent more time together, talking about their hopes and dreams. Lila felt a sense of peace whenever she was with Henry, a feeling of being truly understood and accepted. Their friendship blossomed into affection, a slow-growing love that mirrored the stories they had shared. Lila found herself opening her heart to the possibility of a future with Henry, a future built on trust and mutual respect. The townsfolk noticed the growing closeness between Lila and Henry. Many were happy for them, seeing the joy they brought to each other's lives. Miriam, in particular, was thrilled to see her friend find happiness and love in Willow Creek. Lila's shop continued to thrive, a testament to her hard work and determination. She was proud of what she had built, but she knew that her greatest achievement was the life she had created for herself in Willow Creek. Her journey had been one of resilience and growth, marked by the friendships and connections she had made along the way. As Lila stood in her shop, surrounded by the fruits of her labor, she felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had found a home in Willow Creek, a place where she belonged. Her journey had been challenging, but it had led her to a life filled with love and possibility. Lila knew that her story was far from over. There would be more challenges to face, more dreams to pursue. But she was ready to embrace whatever came next, knowing she had the support of her friends and the love of someone who truly understood her. As the sun set over Willow Creek, Lila and Henry stood together outside the shop. The sky was a canvas of colors, a beautiful end to a fulfilling day. Lila felt a sense of peace, knowing she was exactly where she was meant to be. Her journey had brought her to this moment, and she was ready to embrace the future with hope and love. Lila's shop had become a beloved fixture in Willow Creek. Each day, she welcomed customers with a smile, sharing her creations and her story. Her shop was a place of community and connection, a testament to her journey and the strength she had found along the way. Henry continued to be a constant presence in Lila's life. They spent many evenings together, discussing plans for the future and dreaming of what could be. Their bond, once rooted in friendship, had blossomed into something deeper. Lila felt a sense of peace and happiness whenever she was with Henry, a feeling she cherished deeply. Inspired by her success and encouraged by Henry, Lila began to consider expanding her business. She imagined opening a small shop dedicated to her sewn goods and baked treats, a space where she could continue to grow and thrive. The idea excited her, offering new possibilities for her future in Willow Creek. Henry supported Lila's vision wholeheartedly. He spent hours with her, discussing ideas and planning for the shop. They envisioned a warm and welcoming space, a place where townsfolk could gather and enjoy Lila's creations. The prospect of working together on this new venture filled Lila with hope and determination. As they spent more time together, Lila and Henry's relationship deepened. Their shared dreams and mutual respect created a strong foundation for their growing affection. Lila realized that her feelings for Henry had transformed into love, a love built on trust and understanding. One evening, as they sat together in the shop, Henry expressed his feelings for Lila. He spoke of how much she meant to him, how her strength and determination had inspired him. His words were sincere and heartfelt, a reflection of the deep connection they shared. Lila was deeply moved by Henry's confession. She had known for some time that her feelings for him had grown into love, but hearing his words made her heart swell with joy. She realized that Henry was not just a friend or a partner, he was someone she wanted to build a future with. The conversation marked a turning point in their relationship. Lila knew that she wanted to spend her life with Henry to create a future filled with shared dreams and mutual support. Their love was a testament to the power of resilience and the strength of the human spirit. With a newfound sense of purpose, Lila and Henry began to work on plans for the shop. They spent evenings poring over ideas and discussing details, eager to bring their vision to life. The prospect of building something together filled them with excitement and hope. Lila's shop continued to thrive, and her reputation as a skilled seamstress and baker spread throughout the town. The townsfolk were supportive of her new venture, eager to see Lila and Henry's dream become a reality. Their encouragement was a reminder of the community Lila had found in Willow Creek. As Lila and Henry worked on the plans for the shop, they also began to imagine a future beyond their business. They spoke of building a life together, of creating a home filled with love and laughter. The prospect of a shared future filled Lila with joy, a reminder of how far she had come since arriving in Willow Creek. One afternoon, as they walked through the town, Henry stopped and turned to Lila. He took her hands in his eyes filled with warmth and love. He spoke of his desire to build a life with her, to share in the joys and challenges of the future. His words were a proposal of dreams, an invitation to create a life together. Lila's heart soared at Henry's words. She felt a deep sense of happiness and contentment, knowing she had found someone who truly understood and cherished her. She accepted his proposal with joy, eager to embark on this new chapter of their lives. Their decision to build a future together was met with excitement from the townsfolk. Friends and neighbors offered their congratulations and support, eager to see Lila and Henry's dreams come to fruition. The community that had once whispered about Lila's past now celebrated her future. Together, Lila and Henry continued to work on the plans for the shop, their shared vision taking shape with each passing day. They were united in their efforts, their love and partnership a source of strength and inspiration. Lila felt a sense of peace and happiness as she stood beside Henry, knowing she had found her place in Willow Creek. Her journey had been one of growth and resilience, marked by the friendships and love she had found along the way. She was ready to embrace the future, confident in the life she was building with Henry. As the sun set over the town, Lila and Henry stood together, watching the colors of the sky blend into the horizon. The moment was a reminder of the beauty and possibility that lay ahead, a testament to the power of love and the strength of the human spirit. Lila knew that the journey was far from over, but she was ready to face whatever came next with hope and love. Her story was one of resilience and transformation, a reminder that life's setbacks do not define us. It is our response to them that shapes our true selves. Lila and Henry were deep into their plans for the new shop. They spent countless hours discussing layouts, selecting fabrics, and brainstorming ideas for the bakery section. The dream of a shared business was coming to life, and their excitement grew with each step they took together. Despite the enthusiasm, not everyone in Willow Creek was supportive. Some townsfolk were skeptical about the new venture. They whispered about whether Lila's shop would succeed or if it was just a dream too big for the small town. Lila heard some of these doubts, and though she tried to ignore them, they sometimes weighed on her mind. One day, as Lila and Henry were finalizing their plans, they received unexpected news. The town council had raised concerns about the shop's location, worried it might draw too much attention away from other businesses. This setback was unexpected and frustrating, casting a shadow over their plans. Lila felt a wave of doubt wash over her. She had worked so hard to build her reputation and her shop, and now it seemed like her dreams might be slipping away. Henry noticed her worry and was quick to offer his support. He reminded her of their shared vision and the strength they had found in each other. Determined not to let the setback defeat them, Lila and Henry decided to meet with the town council. They wanted to explain their vision and address any concerns. Lila knew this was a chance to show how committed they were to the community and to their dream. At the council meeting, Lila spoke with passion and conviction. She shared her journey, her hopes for the shop, and her desire to contribute to Willow Creek. Henry stood beside her, adding his voice to the conversation. Together, they painted a picture of a shop that would benefit everyone, a place of community and connection. The council listened, and after some deliberation, they agreed to support the shop. Lila felt a surge of relief and gratitude, knowing their hard work and determination had paid off. The experience had strengthened her resolve, reminding her of the importance of perseverance in the face of doubt. As they left the meeting, Lila felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was ready to move forward with their plans, knowing they had the support of the town. Her journey in Willow Creek had been one of overcoming obstacles, and this was another step in that journey. Amidst the planning and challenges, Thomas reappeared in Lila's life. He approached her one day as she was leaving the shop, an apologetic look on his face. Thomas expressed regret for how he had treated her when she first arrived in Willow Creek. He admitted that he had misjudged her and offered a chance to start anew. Thomas's apology was unexpected, and it stirred up a mix of emotions in Lila. She remembered the hurt she had felt at his rejection, but she had also moved on and built a life she was proud of. His offer made her question her path, even if only for a moment. Lila took time to reflect on the crossroads she faced. She had built a life in Willow Creek, found love with Henry, and created a vision for her future. Thomas's apology was a chance to revisit old dreams, but it was also a reminder of how far she had come. Henry, ever supportive, encouraged Lila to follow her heart. He assured her that he would support her decision, whatever it might be. His unwavering support was a testament to the strength of their relationship, a reminder that they had built something special together. After much thought, Lila realized that her heart belonged to the life she had created in Willow Creek. She had found strength and love in unexpected places, and she was not willing to let go of the future she had built with Henry. Her journey had led her to this moment, and she was ready to embrace it fully. Lila met with Thomas, expressing gratitude for his apology and the closure it brought. She explained that she had moved on and was happy with the life she was building. Thomas respected her decision, and they parted on amicable terms, both finding peace in the conversation. With the chapter with Thomas behind her, Lila focused on the future she was building with Henry. They continued to work on the shop, their shared vision drawing closer to reality. The support from the town and the strength of their relationship fueled their determination to succeed. As the shop's opening day approached, Lila felt a sense of excitement and anticipation. She knew there would be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with the love and support of Henry and the community. Her journey had been one of resilience and transformation, and she was proud of the life she had built. Lila's story was a testament to the power of perseverance and love. She had overcome rejection and doubt, finding strength in herself and in the connections she had made. Her journey in Willow Creek was far from over, but she was ready for whatever came next, confident in the future she was creating with Henry. As the sun rose over Willow Creek, the excitement in the air was palpable. Today was the grand opening of Lila and Henry's new shop, a dream they had nurtured and worked tirelessly to bring to life. The shop was ready, its shelves filled with Lila's sewn goods and baked treats, each item a testament to her hard work and creativity. Lila arrived early to make the final preparations. She arranged the displays, ensuring everything looked perfect for the day ahead. The shop had a warm and inviting feel, a place where customers could feel at home. The sign Henry had made for the door gleamed in the morning light, proudly announcing Lila's creations. Henry joined Lila shortly after, bringing a fresh bouquet of wildflowers to celebrate the occasion. His presence was a comfort and a reminder of the partnership that had made this day possible. Together, they took a moment to stand back and admire the shop, feeling a sense of pride and accomplishment. The townsfolk began to arrive, their curiosity drawing them to the new shop. Lila and Henry greeted each customer with smiles, eager to share their vision and creations. The shop quickly filled with laughter and conversation, the sounds of a community coming together. Miriam was among the first to arrive, her support unwavering as always. She hugged Lila, congratulating her on the beautiful space she had created. Miriam's encouragement had been a constant source of strength for Lila, and she was grateful for her friend's presence on this important day. As the morning turned into afternoon, the shop buzzed with activity. Customers browsed the shelves, admiring Lila's handiwork and sampling her delicious pies. The townsfolk were impressed by the shop, recognizing the care and effort that had gone into its creation. Lila felt a deep sense of fulfillment as she moved through the shop, helping customers and answering questions. She had worked hard to bring this dream to life, and seeing it realized was a moment of pure joy. The shop was a reflection of her journey, a symbol of the resilience and determination that had brought her to this point. Henry was by her side throughout the day, his support and encouragement unwavering. They worked together seamlessly, their partnership evident in every interaction. Lila was grateful for Henry's presence, knowing that their shared vision had made this dream possible. As the day went on, Lila found a moment to step outside and catch her breath. She stood on the porch, watching the townsfolk come and go, their faces filled with smiles and laughter. It was a scene that filled her heart with gratitude, a reminder of the community that had embraced her and supported her dreams. Lila's reflection was interrupted by the arrival of Catherine, the newcomer she had met on the shop's opening day. Catherine had become a regular visitor, drawn to the warmth and charm of the shop. She congratulated Lila on the success of the grand opening, expressing her admiration for the beautiful space. The kindness and support from Catherine and others like her reinforced Lila's belief in the power of community. Her shop was more than just a business, it was a place where connections were made and friendships blossomed. It was a space where people could come together, united by a shared appreciation for creativity and craftsmanship. As the sun began to set, the last of the customers trickled out of the shop. Lila and Henry stood together, taking in the quiet that had settled over the space. The day had been a resounding success, a testament to their hard work and dedication. Lila turned to Henry, her heart full of gratitude and love. She thanked him for his unwavering support and for believing in their shared dream. Henry smiled, expressing his pride in what they had accomplished together. Their bond had grown stronger through this journey, united by their love and shared vision. The grand opening of Lila's creations marked a new chapter in their lives. It was a celebration of their journey, a reminder of the strength and resilience that had brought them to this point. Lila knew that there would be challenges ahead, but she was ready to face them with Henry by her side. As they closed the shop for the night, Lila felt a sense of peace and contentment. She had found her place in Willow Creek, a community that had embraced her and supported her dreams. Her journey had been one of transformation and growth, marked by the love and connections she had found along the way. The future was bright, filled with possibility and promise. Lila and Henry's story was a testament to the power of resilience and the strength of the human spirit. Together, they had built a life they were proud of, a life filled with love, hope, and dreams realized. As they walked home under the stars, hand in hand, Lila knew that their journey was just beginning, and she was ready to embrace whatever came next. Lila's shop, Lila's Creations, had become a cherished part of Willow Creek. It was more than just a business, it was a gathering place where people came to appreciate her sewn goods and enjoy her baked treats. The shop was a testament to her hard work and the community that had embraced her. With the success of the shop, Lila and Henry began planning their wedding. They wanted a simple ceremony surrounded by the friends and community that had supported them. The wedding would be a celebration of their journey and the love they had found in each other. The townsfolk were excited about the upcoming wedding. Many offered to help with preparations, eager to contribute to the special day. Miriam, in particular, was thrilled to assist, offering her bakery as the venue for the reception. Her kindness and support had been a cornerstone for Lila, and she was grateful for Miriam's friendship. As the wedding day approached, Lila felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She wanted everything to be perfect, a reflection of the love and happiness she had found in Willow Creek. The ceremony would take place under a large oak tree near the town square, a place that held special meaning for both Lila and Henry. On the morning of the wedding, Lila woke early. She took a moment to reflect on her journey, the path that had brought her to this day. Her life in Willow Creek had been one of transformation, marked by resilience, friendship, and love. She was grateful for every step of the journey, each challenge and triumph that had led her to Henry. As she prepared for the ceremony, Lila felt surrounded by love and support. Miriam helped her with her dress, a simple but elegant gown that Lila had sewn herself. The dress was a symbol of her creativity and the skills she had honed since arriving in Willow Creek. Henry, too, was preparing for the day. He was filled with anticipation, knowing that this moment was the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. His love for Lila had grown with each passing day, and he was eager to build a future together. The ceremony was set to begin in the early afternoon. Friends and family gathered under the oak tree, the sunlight filtering through the leaves and casting a warm glow over the scene. The air was filled with laughter and joy, a testament to the love and support that surrounded Lila and Henry. As Lila walked down the aisle, her heart swelled with happiness. She saw Henry waiting for her, his eyes filled with love and admiration. The moment was perfect, a reflection of their journey and the bond they had forged. The ceremony was simple and heartfelt. Lila and Henry exchanged vows, their words a promise of love and commitment. They spoke of their shared dreams and the future they would build together, a life filled with hope and possibility. As they sealed their vows with a kiss, the crowd erupted in applause and cheers. The townsfolk were overjoyed to see Lila and Henry wed, their love a testament to the power of resilience and community. The reception took place in Miriam's bakery, the space filled with laughter and music. The townsfolk celebrated alongside Lila and Henry, sharing in the joy of the day. The bakery was filled with delicious treats, a feast prepared with love and care by friends and family. Lila and Henry danced together, surrounded by the people who had supported them throughout their journey. The moment was one of pure happiness, a reminder of the love and connection that had brought them together. As the evening drew to a close, Lila and Henry took a moment to step outside and admire the night sky. The stars twinkled above, a beautiful end to a perfect day. They stood together, hand in hand, reflecting on their journey and the future that lay ahead. Lila felt a deep sense of peace and contentment. She had found her place in Willow Creek, a home where she was loved and supported. Her journey had been one of growth and transformation, marked by the strength and resilience she had found within herself. Henry was by her side, a partner in every sense of the word. Together, they had built a life filled with love and possibility. Their story was a testament to the power of dreams realized and the strength of the human spirit. As they walked back into the bakery, Lila knew that their journey was just beginning. There would be challenges and triumphs ahead, but she was ready to face them with Henry by her side. Their love was a foundation upon which they would build a future, a life filled with hope, happiness, and dreams yet to come. Lila's journey in Willow Creek was a reminder that life's setbacks do not define us. It is our response to them that shapes our true selves. She had found strength, love, and community in unexpected places, and she was ready to embrace whatever the future held. With each step they took together, Lila and Henry knew that their story was one of resilience, love, and the power of dreams realized. As they stood in the warmth of the bakery, surrounded by friends and family, they were filled with gratitude for the journey that had brought them to this moment and the future that awaited them. If you loved the story, like the video and subscribe.